On February 25th, between the hours of 3:12 and 4:15 a.m., the 37th Coast Artillery Brigade in Los Angeles fired off a barrage of anti-aircraft shells at an unidentified flying object.
Watchers on the rooftop of the Columbia Broadcasting Building in the heart of Hollywood could plainly see the flashes of guns and searchlights sweeping the skies in a wide arc along the coastal area.
I think what woke me up initially was the sound of anti-aircraft guns. I jumped out of bed and my parents were up. My father was an air raid warden. He figured this has to be the real thing.
My mother was telling my brother and I, get under the bed, stay there. And of course we got out and we peeked. There was all this firing. It was almost like a 4th of July.
I started hearing a lot of loud explosions. My brother and I looked out the bedroom window, saw searchlights twisting and turning in the sky.
But what was the strange UFO that the searchlights were focused on? Where had it come from? Japan? Or somewhere from out of this world? Could this incredible photograph, published the next morning in the Los Angeles Times, provide the proof? Could ancient astronaut theorists have been right all along?
It was practically overhead, and I mean overhead.
Retired anthropology professor C. Scott Littleton was 9 years old and growing up in Hermosa Beach when he spotted the strange object hovering right over his house.
We saw what my mother always called a silver bug. I'd characterize it today as a lozenge, a long oval. It was something I'll never ever forget. It was caught in searchlight beams, and anti-aircraft shells were exploding all around it. It gradually went like this and then began to lose altitude a little bit as it moved over what had to have been Redondo Beach. We lost track of it, but the banging continued. And very quickly afterward, we all saw a flight of planes following the track of the object, going overhead, anywhere from 3 to 5 interceptors, clearly piston-driven U.S. planes. No one has ever admitted that those planes were in the sky. Our first thought immediately was a Japanese observation plane. Later, the Japanese records definitively proved there were no Japanese planes over Southern California that night, or indeed ever.
After ruling out the possibility that a Japanese plane had invaded American airspace, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox attributed the incident to war nerves. But Secretary of War Henry Stimson quickly refuted this explanation, defensively declaring that an actual aircraft had been the target of the assault. To this day, no one seems to know just what or who was hovering over Los Angeles that night.